Hi, I'm Mr. Omar, Jardin's super scientist. Today I will tell you how to become a scientist by thinking like a scientist. Although you may not know it, you think like a scientist every day. Questions come up and you try to answer them. For example, has something happened that you didn't know the answer, you didn't understand it, or wanted to know more about? Maybe you wanted to know what the weather could be so you could decide what to wear to school. When you try to answer questions and solve problems, you are using the same skills that a scientist uses in their jobs. When you use one or more of 5 senses to collect information, you are observing. When you hear a siren, count 3 stones, or smell a skunk, you are making observations. Your observations must be correct. It cannot be made up in order to help solve a problem. It must be exact. And to do this, you must keep careful records of your observations. You can do this by writing, drawing on paper, or in a notebook. This information that you collect sometimes is called evidence, data, or feedback. After you see or observe something in the world, you try to understand it or make a prediction about what it is based on the details you observe. This interpretation or explanation is not necessarily correct. It is an educated guess. Scientists call such educated guesses inferences. You are inferring when you draw a conclusion based only on what is observed and what you already know, without searching for additional information. For example, if you hear a rooster crowing while you are partially asleep in bed, you would infer that the sun has come up and it is early morning. To make this inference, you combine the evidence, the crowing rooster, and your experience or knowledge of sunrise. You know that the rooster typically crows in morning at sunrise. To infer without looking that it is morning and sunrise is logical. Remember though, that an inference is not a fact. It is only one of the many possible reasons or explanations. For example, the rooster could be crowing because there's a stranger in his pen, or because he is injured. An inference may turn out to be incorrect, even if it is based on an accurate observation. The only way to confirm whether an inference is true or false is to conduct a deeper investigation. Do you watch or listen to weather forecasts? Even if you don't, you probably know that weather forecasts are predictions about how the weather will be like today, tomorrow, or next week. Weather forecasts may predict the amount of rain that will fall, wind speeds, paths of hurricanes, or whether there will be snowstorms that keep you out of school. In order to make these predictions, weather forecasts, also called meteorologists, observe the weather and use their observations and their knowledge of weather patterns to predict what will happen. The skill of predicting involves making an inference about a future event based on current evidence and past experience. Organization or grouping of similarities is called classifying. You can find things in your classroom because items are classified into groups. For example, paint is in the art area. You can classify items in all kinds of ways, using size, shapes, purpose, color, and so on. Scientists use this skill to organize information on objects. As scientists solving a problem, you are collecting data. And when you group similar data together, it is easier for you to understand how they relate or connect. You use and make models all the time. A hand-drawn drawing, a diagram or illustration, or 3-dimensional physical objects that is smaller than the object it represents. A good model can help you to understand something very complex in a simpler way. For example, if you read a description of a solar system, you might have trouble understanding how the planets rotate around the sun. A diagram of the solar system or a 3-dimensional model that you could touch would make the concept easier to understand. Every day you talk to friends, listen to what other people have to say, and write messages or even letters. Reading, writing, speaking, and listening are all part of communicating. Communications is simply sharing ideas and information with other people. Scientists communicate to share information, data, results, and opinions. They often use formal methods of communication such as meeting, reports, and or the internet. By communicating, they can help another find answers to questions and problems. Remember to make careful observations using the 5 senses. Make predictions based on facts that you have gathered. Organize objects and information. This is classifying. Make a model. Share results with others. Do these things and you are on your way to becoming a true scientist.